Blue Star is the first management on the show today. The company reported a strong set. Revenue jumped almost 27%, EBITDA margins expanded, but there was an exceptional gain of 170 crore in Q4 because of the sale of the land parcel in Thane. So we have B. Thiagarajan, who's the MD of Blue Star, who joins in now. Mr. Thiagarajan, good morning. It's always nice to see you on the channel and good to see you early this morning. You know, I wanted to start by asking you about, the usual questions, right? How is growth looking? I think Q4 was very strong for you. But do you think it's just because it's come off a low base? And what kind of growth? Do you think this 25, 30% growth is something that you can eke out, given, the situation? Climate change, the heat wave and all of that. Do you think that growth rates will only improve from here?
Good morning, Sonia. It's a pleasure interacting with you. In your preamble, there is one small correction. There was no exceptional income in FY24 at all. Okay. What you are referring to is FY23 had Thane sale land. Despite that, we had performed extremely well. In FY24, there was no such one-time exceptional income at all. It is pure operating performance. Now, going forward, we had interacted when the season was about to begin. I had stated that we all expect somewhere between 20 to 25% growth. But towards the end of March, the temperature shot up. And contrary to our belief that during an election season, the sale can slow down, the market did extremely well. The sale in March alone was around 40% growth, and in April, it was over 70%. Then I had corrected the estimates, telling that, look, the growth now cannot be somewhere around 25% or something like that. It could be even 40% growth as far as the summer season is concerned. Now, the month of May also has gone on very well with heat waves at several parts of the country. And I think it is another month where the sale is over 60%. So therefore, it is quite probable that the first 3 months of this financial year for room air conditioners business can be over 50% growth. And this sets the tone for the rest of the year. Having said that, the new concern, in April, the concern was there was shortage of material because the entire industry had not planned for that kind of growth. Then there were installation delays. Now, May, we all could bounce back and manage that growth. There is absolutely no problem. The new development is the inflation in the freight costs, specifically the overseas container charges and ocean freight, and the raw material prices, which are skyrocketing.
I just had one follow-up. Yeah, sorry, I just had one follow-up. This is a remarkable statistic. You're saying that in the first 3 months of FY25, you've seen a 50% growth rate in room air conditioners because of course, the heat wave. And personally as well, I don't think I've used air conditioners at home for such a long time span in a day ever, right, in my life, just because of how hot it is here.
Have you got the latest bill, Sonia?
Yeah.
The electricity bill?
I don't want to even look at it.
I got mine, and I must say it was not as bad. It was bad, but it was not as bad. This is for the month of May. And of course we'll, the cycle basically. So it covered a part of May. But, and that's interesting, right? For people like Blue Star, for a company like Blue Star to make energy efficient ACs, I think that's going to be a big one.
Correct.
It costs more, but I think the payback could be pretty significant, pretty fast.
2.5 times the January bill, right?
Wow.
To see, but yeah,
that is crazy.
That was mine.
And it could only get worse, right? Mr. Thiagarajan, I want to understand that from you. So this 50% growth rate, right, in room air conditioners in the first quarter of the fiscal, is that something that you think could sustain through the course of the year? Because I'm asking because April had peak sales, best sales, but how has May been so far? What is the expectation for June? Because this is not something that is restricted to a single quarter anymore. Climate change is something you're seeing through the year. So do you think that these growth rates can sustain?
3-4 points. Number one is that it was over 70% growth in April. It will be over 60% in the month of May. It could as well be over 50% in the month of June. So overall, It could be even 60% growth in Q1. Having said that, this growth we are talking about in comparison with the summer season of last year, which was a bad summer season. It rained throughout, and over the 2022 summer season, the growth was not there at all. It was a flat summer season. So therefore, we should not get carried away by 50% growth. I am of the view that sustainable basis, the CAGR over next 5 years could be anywhere between 15 to 20%. This is the period, like China, we will leapfrog into a very different kind of penetration. So today the penetration will be around 8%. We will be reaching somewhere between 20 to 25% of penetration by 2030. And remember this category. This category, it is not one, if it is a refrigerator, it is one per home. If it is washing machine, one per home. Air conditioners have potential to be more than one in a home. And coming to this power consumption issue, earlier it used to be the case where I can afford an air conditioner, but who will pay for the power bill? So year after year, with each energy label change, the power consumption has been brought down. So the approximate figures I will tell you. If you have bought an air conditioner in year 2000, if you are buying today, it will consume only 20% of the power it consumes. So therefore, the power consumption is no longer an issue. While for a few weeks, people may use for 7-8 hours or so, the general usage is not that much in India. So therefore, I do not see that as a headwind at all. The raw material prices could be now the China has revived, and you are seeing copper prices shooting up, and steel and other metals also will follow like that. And there is going to be even shortage of material if the growth is going to be like this. Another insight I will give you. The room air conditioner, the key raw materials that we use are similar to that of EV. And the growth of both are going to be in the same period. You consume copper, you consume a lot of electronics, and the thermal management system in an EV and an air conditioner manufacturing is one and the same. And the variable speed drives that we use are similar to that. And in China, that's what happened. Most of the component suppliers started focusing on EV rather than air conditioners. So there is going to be a period where the industry will leapfrog, and it is a golden period for the industry with the domestic manufacturing growth happening. But at the same time, to manage the supply chain and to manage the cost is a different game altogether. That's what we are preparing for.
All right. Thanks very much, Mr. Thiagarajan. We had a bunch of other questions, but very interesting statistics. And I think that power statistic is very important. About, AC is bought now, use about 20% of the power if, as compared to an AC back in 2000. But I wonder what the cost difference is also now, of course, for some of these inverter speed ACs, etc.
If you have Mr. Thiagarajan, maybe we can check that. Mr. Thiagarajan, do you want to come in over here? The power consumption is much less, but what about the cost of the AC?
Yeah, you will be surprised to know in the past 6 years, the price has remained the same.
Oh.
Okay, all right.
And it has not increased at all. Thanks to the competition. And the other question that you will often ask me is, what is the margin outlook? I had maintained some point of time, it could be 10%. I brought it down to 9. I think it's a 8% EBIT industry. And therefore, we are making sure the price is also maintained.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll leave it there, Mr. Thiagarajan. Good to have you with us here as always, and interesting chat. We'll have you back with more as over the sort of next many weeks as well, as we get through this sort of summer season.